I'm Chelsea Brewer Bay, here to light your way. For those who have ears, let them hear. I've invested over 40 hours or more in this research over a period of time, a few weeks. So I bring this consolidated version of all my research to you, but it's two parts because it's a lot. And I'm not here for those who took the blue pill, who believe that ignorance is bliss. No, but rather the red pill, who want to know the cold hard truth. So if you experience any cognitive dissonance, let's talk about it, because maybe I can help you connect dots for your understanding to translate into wisdom. Now, let's get into it. There are so many coincidences and repeating patterns. I thought it better translated here in a video so you can literally see what I'm saying. And if any of this resonates with you, share this video. Since I've been shadow banned from previous information below, my reach is very limited. So I trust you'll act in the best judgment of Gaia's health, our health and well-being as a collective. There is a term called chronokinesis, which means the manipulation of time. We see this in the change of the time 2,020 years ago at the crucifixion and resurrection of Yeshua the Christ. Quick side note, if Yeshua is the resurrection, why is his crucifixion posted up in all of these churches? Oh yeah, to keep you in a paradigm of guilt, to keep you emotionally enslaved to their creeds. But anyway, the true year is 1440, but that's not written in his books. You have to research past your current paradigm to find that out. There's another word called omnikinesis, which breaks down omni, meaning all, omniscience, and kinesis, meaning manipulation, which could be defined as witchcraft if you subscribe to Judaism and Christianity and those similar circles. As an example, this money magic that we see the banking systems use, it creates money out of debt. Your signature actually creates money out of the blue every time you get a loan. Money is a figment of a sophisticated algorithm created by the Rockefellers and some others who met off Jekyll Island in the early 1900s, and is the reason we have this fractionalized banking system of today. So that's why I say DM me if you want to find the way to the latest crypto. You may have missed the boat on Bitcoin, but I got something I want to share for the well-initiated. Back to omnikinesis. This is the problem, reaction, solution that we see through these false flags and orchestrated events aired in the media to distract us from what the puppeteers are doing, which leads us to think one way while they steal our rights while we Netflix and chill and just endlessly scroll. Speaking of television, you know I'm a huge proponent of throwing that out the window. Remember when TV had them big booties? The science inside was that a vacuum tube created phosphoric ions and electrons that flowed through it, and then it hit the screen, creating a picture. This energy being siphoned from your cable provider disrupts the gamma rays being created by your human within your brain. This means the vehicle that the Creator gave you to reason and think for yourself is being manipulated and disrupted by a power contrary to infinite intelligence that you're worshiping. Lucifer means light. Phosphorus means light, but it's a counterfeit light. Yeshua was quoted in ancient texts having seen Lucifer fall from heaven as a flash of lightning. He was the light of the world. See the difference? And have y'all seen California skies lately? There's a whole lightning storm causing several wildfires. Nothing is by accident. I study words because as a Moor, I could fall into an enforceable verbal contract with one of these policy enforcers if I'm not careful with my language and my linguistics. It's called etymology. the study of words. Illuminate starts with the word ill, meaning sick or twisted. Luminate is simply light. So we can deduce reasonably that Illuminati are sick and twisted bringers of a counterfeit light. Just like your TV. We can see that the NYPD has the same building design as structures found on Jeffrey Epstein's private island. But I'll come back to that in a second. I'm talking about light and counterfeit light right now. Phosphorus gets its name from the Greek, which means bringer of light. Let me show you how you're eating and drinking death by the inversion tactics of this Luciferian system, tricking you within this matrix. Check it. Look at this Oreo made by Nabisco. I want you to look closely at its symbology. We all agree words cast spells, but we have to look through the words on how it can be sickening or ways that truth can be twisted. Discernment is required for 2020 and beyond, y'all. You think these are just X's, but they are actually symbols of the Knights of Malta. So if you ever get a malt beverage again, you remember this video, okay? The Knights of Malta are one of the they that coincidence theorists like me talk about. One of the secret societies of the elites. The names of the they go by Rothschild, actually Bauer, Warburgers, Oppenheimers, Soros, actually Schwartz, the Bushes, Clintons, the Rockefellers, and other odd fellow members. You remember when we were younger, we played music backwards because there was a demonic message hidden there that we could hear if we really listened closely? Yeah, do that with Hotel California and see what happens. I ain't never heard no special message back then that way, but if you spell through the inversion technique Oreo backwards, O-E-R-O, Hebrew is also written from right to left, you get a word in Persian which means phosphoric acid. And always look up the Greek, Persian, and Latin derivatives of words that you want a deeper understanding, understanding, overstanding of, especially for names of these pharmaceuticals. So we really don't even know what them natural flavors mean until now. This is important because phosphoric acid is in all of your carbonated drinks, just like MRC5 and just like HEK6. PHOSP means light or Lucifer, the counterfeit light. Horus, H-O-R-U-S. The elites call that demonic through the paradigm of Christianity because the Egyptian roots of that word originating with the melanated peoples are canceling them out. That's why they're scared of us. That's why they create a medium through the media for other people to be scared of us too. Also, that's why Beyonce in the remix with Megan Thee Stallion calls it demon time. Also from Horus, we get the word hours. You see the switch up? Now, ingesting phosphoric acid turns it into phosphate. Then it mutates within the body through digestion into hexophosphate. And hex means to accurse. Take it from a former witch from a former life. So when you drink sodas, you're ingesting curses, you're ingesting fake light, and hate. Saccharin, another ingredient, is a name after a demon. Another ingredient, glyphosate, is named after a demon. And I say demon to refer to a dark, low vibrational entity. You think it's good because you've been programmed to think that way because of the commercials. They all fun and colorful. They got people dancing. No. They're manipulating your emotions to buy. They're specially trained at that. But it curses your body with high blood pressure, diabetes, pancreatic cancer, and dehydration. That's why you get old before your time. You ain't taking care of your body. Get your ass back to nature, man. Also on this cookie, you see the double cross? That is the cross of Lorraine. Funny side note, my mother's middle name is Lorraine. But we won't talk about Iris the virus today. I chose her as my mother for this lifetime, for such a time as this, because of my nationality privileges coming from her womb. That's another topic for another day. This cross of Lorraine was seen on the H of Hillary's failed 2016 campaign. What is another interesting find is that MLK was murdered at the Lorraine Hotel. This symbol is rooted in a secret society called the Odd Fellows. This double cross and organization originated with a slave owner named Thomas Wildey. And these Odd Fellows, they own cemeteries, orphanages, bakeries, all the front for pedophilia and hiding the actual truth from people. Take for instance George Floyd. He was 6'6", but his coffin was only 6'1". It's this Gestalt theory of problem, reaction, solution that perpetuates this fraud of this banking system and the fraud of this economic system requiring slavery of people working 8, 10, 12 hours for 40 years to retire and enjoy what, 11, 12, 15 years of their life? Something's wrong here. William Shakespeare was an odd fellow whose original name was Sir Francis Bacon. And many of these odd fellows changed their names and the names of their organizations and businesses to disrupt the money trail and to escape their evils without being traced back to them. Hence, checkers versus chess. Quick side note, if you eating checkers, you're losing. If you eating canes, you're about to be crippled because that's not doing anything for your body, but hurting it. That's why doing business in the name of your trust is so important, but that's for my Moors who have nationalized already. Another interesting coincidence is that the NYPD is directly across the street from the Odd Fellows headquarters in the United States. The same NYPD that has the building design from Epstein's private island. This should bring full circle the colloquialism called the double cross. Standing alone, you see it on the cookie, it represents one thing, but bringing it alongside another coincidence, one can deduce its true meaning. It's one of darkness and death. That's why Lincoln and JFK were assassinated. They had balls, and they were willing to stand for truth, but the Order of Solomon's Temple, aka the Knights Templar, aka the Jesuits, which are Zionist Jews by religion, not by bloodline, are set up to protect the system with all sorts of methods of inversion, delusion, illusion, and deception. The Knights Templar were originated specifically to protect the Vatican and its banking system. First of all, why does a church have a bank? And why does the Vatican need protection? Could it be from all of our true Moorish history and treasures hidden in the dungeons they call hell? Then tell you hell is a place of eternal condemnation? Yeah, it's an eternal condemnation for black people who don't know who they are. Other secret societies are the Boule Society, of which Dwayne Wade is a part, and LeBron James, who has its emblem tatted on his chest. We're going to talk about Tupac with the Thug Life next week. They both sold their soul for money. I ain't trying to speak against children, but peep how the sins of the father fall on the head of the son. The whole transhumanism agenda is seen in Zion, his son, turned female Zaya. And why he got the same marks on his head that the Vatican pedophiles got on their collar. He is not his own anymore. Remember when I told you the bridge of my nose is crooked because my mother didn't like her nose while I was gestating in her womb? These are examples of generational curses that we came here during this time on purpose to incarnate, to resolve for a better incarnation next lifetime. Lincoln knew the scam of the greenbacks, this fake fiat we got, now called Federal Reserve notes. But the Rockefellers wanted to build their empire on the backs of the people, so he had them taken out. Even King James, You know, the one who remixed the Bible through Constantine in 325 AD. You know, the one who extricated 45 books of the Bible. You know, those homosexuals. How you following that pastor and he can't be rightly dividing the word, missing whole books of words? I was under the psyop too. I'm not judging, but just wake up with me, okay? So not only were they both homosexuals, but King James was a member of the Odd Fellows. The Freemasons are another not-so-secret society. Harriet Tubman was a high-ranking Mason who didn't just set captives free. No. She recruited the engineers and the land surveyors for the system that was under its own revolution at the time. How you think she knew the way out? Those folded hands with interwoven fingers are the sign of a high-ranking Mason. Kanye was not lying, and I have a video to honor him coming up. Anytime you see a hand in a jacket pocket or folded like this, remember that's a member of a group who hides their hand, or they're involved in a higher order in this game of chess they play while hiring others to do their bidding. Does it make sense now how Benjamin Banneker, who was actually named Benjamin Bay, mapped out the plat for Washington, D.C.? These Freemasons stole our land and knowledge, then got us being defrauded by all kinds of psyops and hoaxes. You have to research history past your comfort zone, otherwise you'll just be lulled back to sleep. All these hidden agendas is what I've been discovering and uncovering about, so I'm not posting much as before. Then I have several clients. Then I'm also writing a book, while also writing raps to creatively share information with you as well. But y'all, your television and Hollywood are controlling the grand narratives and y'all just eating it up. I can see because I've stepped away from it and chosen to opt out of the illusion. I don't participate. The KKK is a psychological warfare on the people to keep us fighting amongst each other when it wasn't even created by white people, but rather Khazarian Jews who hired Albert Pike to be the face of it. BLM was created by George Soros and hired black women to be the face of it. NAACP was created by a Khazarian Jew, an attorney, Henry Moskowitz, from Romania, who hired black faces, but none of these people are actually running the show. Refer to Wizard of Oz. Hell, refer to Oz from HBO. Until you wake up, you'll forever be in a prison within this prism. Through inversion and different languages, the Luciferians hide their true agendas, which is an enslaved population through transhumanism via these vaccines that just feed their various little whims, putting you on a remote control so that they can control. Just as Jacob disguised himself as Esau to steal his birthright. As a side note, my biological father's middle name was Jacob. But that's what's happening with the entire country and the world's population at large, being defrauded by this pandemic to take our rights away under the guise of helping us, and to line their pockets by harvesting our energy from this matrix. Now to this picture and I'll be done. The Knights of Malta turned into Knights Templar, which the Third Reich worshipped ever since World War II, throughout Berlin and Hamburg, around Germany. And they're now called the Jesuits. And it looks like Jesus, so you'll easily dismiss it. Y'all worship Nelson Mandela, but he was a member of the South African chapter. He was a sellout and a murderer. And FYI, you could only be in this organization if you were in their bloodline. Same with Obama, who was related to the Bush family. And as a side note, Bush ain't even their real name. That's the name they go by. Also, another black man people worship is Martin Luther King, who was buried on Auburn Avenue in Georgia, which is Odd Fellows' land. He had to be a member to be buried on their land. So who was he, really? Those honorable mentions lead me to my final advisory regarding the demonic psyop the elites are broadcasting. The left side, the guy is holding a cracker. It's not just because he's white like a cracker and happens to cause inflammation in the body like a cracker, but it refers to the slave owner's crack of the whip. That's why slaves called the police of their time crackers. So now, over time, we just call all white races crackers. But it initially referred to their tool they used to keep slaves in line. Ask yourself, why would the NYPD have that on their emblem? That explains it. To keep these modern day slaves in line. And black people, you must realize black means dead. So in the eyes of the law, you don't matter. You're just matter. Melanin, who the elites use as a preferred blood supply to drink, because they can't produce as much as we do on their own. And that's where all the missing children are, in their caves, awaiting torture and dismemberment to drink their blood mixed with their adrenaline from their fear. They feed on our fear. That's why everybody's got a mask on, because they scared. Right now, these children are suffering, and I digress purposefully because we have to say a prayer. Say this 3 times with me. Holy Spirit of the living Christ, deliver these children into peace and freedom. Holy Spirit of the living Christ, release these children into peace and freedom. Holy Spirit of the living Christ, deliver these children into peace and freedom. Hold space for these children because they are you. They are sacrificing their human experience for us to live the way we do today. They are extensions of you. So remember to pray for them, please. And if you think about it, the elites are doing the same thing to you similarly, not as horrifically, however, through the TV. So continuing. The eagle, it's at the top, looking at the east. That's a symbol of the Third Reich. The Indian on the right is the one who sold New York's territory to the Masonic Order for $500. The York Reich out of England is who owns that territory, hence the name New York. The 5 stars represent the 5 boroughs, but also the sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, all of which they cloud by various psyops through the media, through ball games, commercials, chemicals, all made to keep you in the dark, and is where Illuminati get their name. They know the truth, but keep it from you. Their system of indoctrination keeps you in a state of dependence so as to always maintain control over you. So I ask you, are you going to continue to remain in the same paradigm that's made to keep you a slave? Or will you opt out? And as a side note, when you watch TV, they have a Nielsen contraption that watches the ratings. Ratings, huh? It's an algorithm to measure the rate of their success. So are you going to opt in or opt out? Going to a job, you opted in. Trading Forex, you opted out. You're actually riding the same waves the governments and the banks use to make their money all over the world. Voting, you opted in. Presidents are selected by the aforementioned groups. They are not elected. May I remind you of Hillary being chosen, but Trump being appointed? Registering your car, you opted in. Regis is the root word of register, which means king. So you're giving your property away to the English crown. Pressing play on Hulu without a specific purpose, just to be entertained because you're bored, you're opted in. You sports fans, you're opted in. It's an illusion. Dated back from when 300. Watch the movie 300 back then. I'll provide resources to the ones who DM me because it's only for the well-initiated, because I'm not casting my pearls among swine. There is so much more. And this is just part one of a two-part series called Lumination, a New Revelation. I hope you've enjoyed. No, I hope you've been informed, and that you'll take this information into the next dispensation of your human experience within this third dimension that we call Earth. Again, my name is Chelsea Brewer Bay. So if you learned something today from your spiritual ophthalmologist, please share and light someone else's way. And may peace, love, and light guide you through Gaia's dark night. Peace and blessings.